What's up, guys? Welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks. I'm your host, Caleb. If you want to support me, you can now follow me on Patreon. Not only is it the best way to support the channel, but additionally, you'll get more say in what decks I cover. Special shout out to my high contributing patron, Newsome, you rock. Now, let's get into today's video, and today we're going to be taking my Bruce Tarl and Kamal list and making it more budget friendly. That way, you guys will have a better idea of how to do it yourselves. So you can go ahead, follow me on Moxville. You can now duplicate that deck list and then just take out all the expensive cards and put in budget cards, making the deck more budget friendly. I found that if you take a look at a list, 9 times out of 10 you can take like 15 cards out of the deck and turn it into like $100 deck, and the core of the deck is going to be relatively the same. So for you people that are not proxy friendly, which I understand some LGSs do not accept proxies, this is going to be very useful for you, and this is why Moxville is just an amazing tool. You can go follow me, take any of my lists, and just tweak them to your own liking, make them the budget of your choice. For this list, I decided to anything over $10, I cut it. Completely cut it out of the deck list, and then we're going to add more cards in, and we're going to see where the deck lands and what the price of the deck is going to land at the start of the video and after we add in all the cards. Another thing we're going to talk about is what should I add in when I take stuff out, and we'll just get into that while we go through the video. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, well, I guess I should probably explain what the deck's trying to do real quick, just for people that don't know. I'll leave a link to the deck list in the description if you guys want to watch the deck tech. But basically, the whole idea of this deck is we have Kamal in the command zone and Bruce Tarl, and then Bloodthirster is kind of our pseudo other commander, and we're trying to give as many things vigilance as possible. That way, whenever we get the extra combats with Bloodthirster, we're going to be able to attack with all of our other creatures as well. Because Bloodthirster only untaps himself, but he does give you an additional combat. So as long as we can give stuff like our lands vigilance, we can go ahead and attack on those extra combats that we get with Bloodthirster. And then again, Kamal's triggering at each of those combats. So Bloodthirster is getting massive, our lands are getting massive. And basically, if you get Bloodthirster and Kamal on the battlefield at the same time, reanimate a couple lands, your opponents are going to be dead. That's the too long didn't read version of the deck, right? So I went ahead and cut everything already. So I'm going to show you guys what I cut. And why I cut it because of the budget. That's literally the only reason. But we're going to cut Adeline here. She's amazing in the deck, but she got a cut. Chroma's Will, Avacyn, Bloom Tinder, all over $10. Clever Concealment, that's crazy. But honestly, this card's amazing, so I get it. It's gone up in price. Elder Gargaroth, also gone up in price. Holy crap, $15. So we're going to cut that. We're going to cut Elish Norn here, $9, but close enough, so we're going to just cut her. Monster Manual, another one that's gone up in price, and I see why. 2 mana shove a creature into play is insane. The other things that do that are 4 mana, so I can see definitely why this one's going up in price. Jessica's Will's just an amazing card, so no surprise there. Same with Invasion of Ikoria. $10, almost got to be in there, but it's going to get cut. Guardian Projects, this is getting reprinted soon, so hopefully that'll impact the price because this is an amazing card draw piece. The Reaver Cleaver, this card just has won me the game every time it's entered the battlefield, so we're definitely going to try to find some budget options that are going to replace the Reaver Cleaver just because of how powerful and how impactful this card has been for me. The One Ring, now this may look like I'm just shoving staples in a deck, but the One Ring is specifically in this deck because Bruce Tarl gains us a ton of life, and there's no way to utilize that life in the deck. So I was like, I have all this life and no way to utilize it. I'm going to play the One Ring. That way, at least I'm kind of capitalizing on that life gain. Another thing we cut is Exploration, $8, but again, close enough, and I think we can find some more budget options, so we're definitely going to cut that one. Atali, this one skyrocketed in price as well, and honestly, I can see why. You cast this thing, you get 4 free spells. It's insane, and it really puts you ahead of your opponents fast. Sylvan Library, again, it might look like I'm just shoving staples in a deck, but I just wanted to leverage that life total. 9 times out of 10, Sylvan Library turns into a card where you're just scrying 3 and then picking a card from it, but in this deck, you can actually consistently always just pay 8 life and just draw 3 cards every turn. So that's why it's in the deck. Just wanted to explain myself so people don't try to, you just shove, yeah, I know. All right, let's get on to the video. We are going to look at the ads now because we cut 18 cards and we are adding 18 cards. Perfect. I already did this as well because finding and searching for the cards is going to be what takes up a lot of the time to do this, right? It's easy to go through and cut all the cards, but then you have to find cards that kind of pseudo replace those cards, right? Which can kind of be hard to do when or getting rid of really good cards, and you have to find budget cards that replace that really good card. But I think we did decent here. We've got Angel Fire Ignition. This is just going to give some solid protection, and additionally, it does give one of our creatures vigilance. So in a scenario where we have Bloodthirster on the battlefield, we can at least give one of our creatures vigilance and start chipping away at our opponent's life total. Azusa's Lost But Seeking. This one's in the deck because, again, we did get rid of Exploration, and playing additional lands is pretty good, especially when you draw a ton of cards, which this deck can kind of do. And then, yeah, it's just going to catapult us into our very expensive commander. Dajiru and Hazarat. Now, again, I wanted more ways to cheat creatures into play since we did cut Monster Manual. We got rid of this. I mean, this doesn't really cheat creatures into play, but I was looking through the list, and we just are running a ton of legendaries, right? We've got one here, we've got Celestine, Goreclaw. So we've got a lot of very impactful legendary creatures. So I was like, okay, they just fit kind of good in the deck. And then additionally, they're big beaters. So throw them in the deck. They're going to be amazing with the extra combats if we can give them vigilance. So it's just going to be a perfect pairing. Same with, not sure how to pronounce that, but we're just going to call it Uprising for now. But all of these two white samurai creature tokens have vigilance. So we can cast these for a massive turn and kill our opponents. Because all we need, again, is Kamal or Bloodthirster. Honestly, with just Bloodthirster on the battlefield, this is going to be a very impactful card. And then if we have Kamal and Bloodthirster, all we have to do is cast this. We don't even have to have X equal that much, and then we're definitely going to be able to kill our opponents. Remember, Kamal does give our creatures trample, so this was a pretty good find. And honestly, I'm probably going to just consider putting it in the main deck. I think it's that good. End Raise Forerunners, they have vigilance, they have trample, they give our creatures vigilance and trample for the end of turn, so that's again going to synergize really well with the deck. We did take a couple ways to give our creatures vigilance out, like a Chroma's Will, so this is going to replace a Chroma's Will. The thing with budget cards is, if you notice, a Chroma's Will is a 4 CMC card, and then End Raise Forerunners is not a 4 CMC card. So that's kind of where the difference is going to be. We will have to make some sacrifices there, but again, the deck is going to be budget, and the core of it is still going to work very well. Hit the Motherload is going to be amazing. This is kind of going to replace our Jessica's Will. It's going to not do a very good job of it, but hey, I've been running this card and it seems pretty solid. You get to discover, and then even if you discover into something like a Cultivate, you're going to get 7 treasure tokens off of that. So it's still a very useful card. Kutso was pretty good because there's a lot of ways to get blown out in this deck. And what I mean by that is, picture we use something like Return of the Wild Speaker and they destroy our biggest creature. We don't get to draw any cards. Same with stuff we're already running, in our card draw section, we're already running stuff. Where's my card draw section? Right here. So we're already running stuff like, where is it? Hunter's Insight. So that's another card that we can completely get blown out if they destroy our creature that we target with Hunter's Insight. So Cutstill's just going to completely stop that. And then additionally, our commander is buffing all of our creatures up. So now we have a solid way to capitalize on the card advantage Cutstill gives us as well. So it seemed like a solid replacement for just some card advantage pieces. And it adds a little bit of protection and resilience to the deck. Mark of Sekiko. Yeah, this is going to be our budget Reaver Cleaver, and it's actually cheaper. The only thing is it's set in at green mana, so we do lose some flexibility from the treasure tokens, and it doesn't give our creatures trample, but our commander does that, so that's probably going to be fine. And again, it's pretty solid there. We also have Tanuki Transplanter. This is also going to be another version of our Reaver Cleaver. Again, it's only going to be green mana, but we're just trying to replace the cards as best as we can because we're not going to get another Reaver Cleaver for less than $15 apparently. So these are going to be our budget options. One's 40 cents, the other one's $3. Seems pretty worth it to me. Minkskin Boo, not only is this going to add a little bit of removal to the deck. It's also going to give us a little bit more card advantage. We did cut some pretty big card advantage pieces. Sylvan Library and the One Ring are pretty big hits, especially because we really didn't care about the life gain in this deck. So they're going to be pretty big hits here. But again, this is going to be pretty solid to start to make that better, because again, we can draw a lot of cards with Minx and Boo, especially when we're buffing the power of that hamster already. So it can be pretty solid. Resplendent Angel, I thought this was kind of solid. This one's pretty new. This is the most budget version, or the most budget printing of it. Not sure I like the art, but hey, we're gonna grab it. That's probably why it's the most budget, right? And then this is kind of replace our Adeline. It's not going to do as good of a job, and you kind of do need Bruce Tarl online to get those um, angels consistently. But the angels are going to be bigger, so it's going to be a solid trade up. And again, it's way more budget than Adeline, which is almost $10 now. Return of the Wild Speaker, just some solid card advantage, $1.60. I love it. Rocco's going to kind of replace some of the tutors in the deck, so now we can get our Bloodthirster with Rocco. That is going to be 9 mana, but we can get there in this deck, so it's not going to be that insane, especially when we're running stuff like Mark of Sakiko, Tanukai Transplanter. Rocco's definitely going to be able to grab our Bloodthirster. Selfless Spirit, this is kind of just going to be some added protection in the deck. This deck does commit a lot to the board, so it can get blown out of the water with a board wipe. So I just wanted some additional protection, and Selfless Spirit can get us there. Sky Shroud's Claim, some extra ramp. We did cut some ramp pieces because Bloom Tinder, again, $11. She taps for 3 mana. She's really good, but not budget. We went ahead and cut her, and then we cut Exploration as well. But I think Azusa is going to do a pretty good job of replacing Exploration. Doesn't come down turn 1, but that's okay. The deck speed is going to be hit a little bit, but again, we're going to end up with a way more budget list. Hopefully, we'll see. And then Soul of the Harvest, 73 cents whenever we cast a creature spell, or it enters the battlefield, sorry. Not a lot of ways we can benefit on that. We have Rocco, but again, so that's just going to add some more card advantage when we are casting our creature spells, which there's a lot more creatures in the deck now since we cut a lot of the other pieces, and creatures are relatively cheap. Souls of the Majesty, another solid way we can get some card advantage. Again, you can get blown out, but Cutsil's hopefully going to mitigate that, along with Selfless Spirit. And then I added in Zendikar's Resurgent. Not only do we get some added card advantage, we get to double our mana. So late game, this is going to be a very explosive card. It's not really replacing anything, but it is very explosive. So it can kind of be a replacement for the Reaver Cleaver, kind of be a replacement for it gives us card advantage, a huge amount of mana. It does everything we want to do. And then, I think that's my cuts. I think I justified all of them and why I chose them. Again, you want to kind of replace, while you're doing this, you want to be looking at what you're replacing and what you're cutting, and you want to replace something that does similar. Again, the longest part of me doing this video was actually finding the things to put in it, but as long as you can learn how to use Scryfall effectively, and you can kind of get there, right? You can kind of find the things that, and then guys, I'm gonna tell you that a big help, not even Scryfall. Type in what you want the card to do into Google, and sometimes it just pops up. You could even type in cards like the Reaver Cleaver, and that's how you start building on your card pool knowledge. Because the hardest part about making a non-budget list budget is having card pool knowledge. Some of these cards I knew right away. Some of these cards I had to kind of look for. Like Rocco, I knew Rocco existed, but when I started looking for creature tutors that were budget, Rocco popped up, and I was like, oh, yep, let's shove Rocco in the deck. So we're going to go ahead. The deck is at $480 right now. We're going to go ahead and cut everything from the sideboard and see what the end product looks like. F2's cut, but my keyboard's not in front of me because my microphone's right here. So we're gonna cut. Just don't look. I'm gonna trust that you're not looking at the price. Let's see. Bum 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 bum. Allison, I'll miss you. But again, also another thing, while I was doing this video and looking, I found some pretty cool cards that might actually make the main deck. So that's also the cool part about building budget. You just find some really cool cards. All right, and the final price of the deck is $154. So I think that's not budget. Budget, you really want to be, for me at least, budget is $100 and less. So if you wanted to even take this farther, you could say, okay, anything $5 and above, I'm cutting unless it's part of the main strategy, right? Reaver Cleaver. Bloodthirster just has to be in the deck. It just has to. That's part of what the deck does. It's part of what the deck functions. So we're going to be okay. We cannot cut the Bloodthirster. But Celestine might get the cut here, right? It's a $7 card, so I could very easily see the cut for this. Um, there's also $5 card here. We don't really need it. It's really good with Bloodthirster because Bloodthirster just gets massive with Xanagos and Zapindril, so I can kind of see not cutting those as well. But here we've got a $6 card. Like I said, Toski, really good card advantage, but also, do we really need it? You could cut that one there. So, like I said, and sometimes, or Savala, $8. Like I said, if you wanted to go through and you wanted to trim up this deck a little more, you definitely could. But I'm happy with $150 when it was at like um 450, I think is what the deck was. I'm happy with that. I know you guys don't, it's not budget. Let's be honest. $150 is not budget, but this took a giant shot at the deck's price and it is a step in the right direction. I'm curious what you guys think about these videos or what you guys think about me doing videos like these. I'm hopefully just trying to give you a little bit better understanding of what I do when I deck build or what I do when I try to take a list and make it more budget. I've done this in the past with a couple lists because a couple people were asking me. But at the end of the day, if you guys can just copy my list, make them budget on your own, and then you end up with a unique deck on your own, I think that's pretty cool as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Comment section. I kept wanting to say selection, was not coming out. So let me know in the comment section if you want more videos like this. I'm open to doing anything right now. I'm just testing a lot of content. I'm just enjoying, you know, doing this. So as always, I hope this helped you in your deck building endeavors. I'll see you in the next one. I'd like to thank my patrons, Newsome, Chicken Salad, Excessum. You guys are amazing, as well as everyone else. And yeah, have a nice day, guys.